Right, here's the start of the job. I've just returned home with a BMW 135, rather nice car, and only 23 miles on the clock. So we're at home now, end of that day, and this is the car I'm taking tomorrow morning to the new owner. So there we go, engine off, record the mileage for the Model system, and then switch everything off, remove the trade plates, and in we go for tea. See you a bit later. Well, the evening's activity is the planning. Generally this takes me about 40 minutes, depending on how complicated it is, and I tend to use the computer to try and get Google Maps up to try and show me where to go. But I'm very old-fashioned and I write it on a piece of paper as well, as you see. That gives me the essential details for each vehicle and the public transport in between. I tend to make the phone calls on my way home. Often with the last car I'll stop off and make some phone calls, but for private individuals I can make the phone calls when I'm at home. So with that all planned, it's London tomorrow, and with the M25 and M1 to look forward to, plus bits of the North Circular, it's going to be an early start. Generally for London it's best to leave before 6 o'clock. In fact, sometimes around 5 o'clock. Gets you off to an early start and therefore makes the rest of the day a lot easier. So all to do now is to make lunch, the same sandwiches every day, and go to bed. So, good night. Right, it's early morning and we're just leaving the house. Oops. So, taking our charge, our BMW, and we're taking it down to Dagenham this morning. So here we go. This is the car, nice and early on a summer's morning. I'll have to check it out in Model, and then we'll get straight away onto the onto the M1. Right, ready to go. I've marked the mileage in Model, and I've got the destination on the sat-nav. So, time to take this BMW down to Dagenham, home of the Ford Cortina. Let's kick the tyre, light the fire. See you later. Well, here we are at last. We're in Dagenham, and luckily enough the motorways and all the other roads cleared up, so we've actually made good progress in the end. Now I need to just look at the details, do a quick check on the car, and when I'm happy that everything's right, I'll knock on that door there. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we've done the checks on the car. Everything seems to be fine. So now we just knock on the customer's door, and then we head off into the wilds of East London. So again, see you in a minute. Car delivered, and now a walk to the station. This is a little trip across London today. London is pretty busy, as you know, but at least it has good public transport. And this being midsummer, it's a lovely morning for a walk, so I really don't need to take the bus. So I'll see you next at the next port of call. Well, here we are on a Monday morning waiting for a train. And here it is. This is Nuneaton Station. I've got to get to the office in Leicester, and that involved coming from Rugby to Nuneaton and then changing for a train to Leicester. Then I'll need a bus to Wigston. So it's rather a long journey. It would normally take me about half an hour by car, but there you go, the pleasures of train travel. Right, here I am on services on the M1, and I've just pulled over for the usual pit stop, but also to work out the sat-nav. I just cannot work out the sat-navs on some of these cars. They're absolutely ridiculous. If only they could be made intuitive. A lot of drivers do the navigation via Google Maps on their phone. So, as you see here, I've got the sat-nav and I've got the stand-up for my phone, so I can do the navigation by the phone. But as you see, the sat-nav has decided to work. I don't know why. There's some bizarre logic. I put in the address when I started, when the engine was running, and now I've turned the engine off. The sat-nav actually decides I might want to actually go to that address. There was no way of selecting it prior to that, so I put in the address about 5 times, but it refused to do anything with it. Now I've stopped the engine, it's decided it might navigate. So one of the eternal problems with driving these cars, as I say, a lot of people tend to just trust their phones all the time and put the postcodes in prior to going. I prefer to use the car sat-nav if I can, and it's one of the checks on Model as well, so it's worth checking that it works. It's just intensely frustrating sometimes. If you do use your phone, make sure you connect up to a charging point at the same time, because sat-navs really drain the battery more than anything else. So I'll say goodbye for now. Thank you. Well, here we are on a train. Lovely morning. It's end of July and I've just delivered a car to London. Luckily all went well. Perhaps because of the school holidays there wasn't much on the road for once. Now I'm going out to Colchester, but there's been a change of plan. I'm doing my planning as I go.
Approaching Whittam.
So I'm doing my planning as I go, and because my third car... Shut up.
Please take care when leaving the train.
Sorry about this. Because my third car had to be collected before 3 o'clock, I'm going to do a diversion en route. So as I drive my second car from Colchester to Norwich, I'm going to drop off at Diss Station, check out the third car, then leave it at Diss Station car park, drive on to Norwich, and then return by train later in the afternoon. So that's a bit of a trick, to pull one on the way and leave it for later. So I hope it all goes well. I've been making phone calls, checking every car's ready en route, and the time on the train is really the time to sort everything out, log your expenses, and then hopefully